And let's be honest with ourselves. Do you always start your solos in minor pentatonic easy shape? Far too many of us do that, right? We need to be able to find whatever scale we need, wherever we need it, wherever our hand happens to be at that moment. We shouldn't have to always shift to our easy shape just because it's easy, right? And keep in mind, we can play one scale for a whole song, but we can also change scales. We could play many scales in one song. And in that case, we would really need to be able to find whatever scale we need, wherever we need it. For example, what if we're playing a song and the rhythm guitar part that's right before our solo happens to have a chord that's around here from the 10th to 12th fret? And then we know our solo's coming up and we know we need A major pentatonic. We want to be able to know where it is, right where our hand is. All my students here at this studio and on our Patreon are taught a simple 3-step method for doing this. But first, we might need to think about the pentatonic shapes in a different way. Let me explain. Normally, when we think about, say, A minor pentatonic, we could imagine all 5 shapes and we see them, one is connected to another, right? But there's another way to think about it. The way I see it is that there are 2 shapes that are first finger shapes, and there are 2 shapes that are third finger shapes. For example, if I did A minor pentatonic easy shape, I could put my first finger on A on the 5th fret of the low E string and play easy shape from there. So since I started with my first finger, that would be a first finger shape. But what if I happened to be up here at that moment? Maybe I was playing a chord up here right before my solo, or maybe I had another memorized hot lick here, and I wanted to play E minor pentatonic. I'd want to be able to look down and instantly know what E minor pentatonic is right here in this area. In that case, I would look down and I would see, well, there's an E note right there on the 12th fret, and my third finger is closest to it. So I know that my third finger shape would be this one. That would be E minor pentatonic shape 5, what I sometimes call symmetrical shape because it's symmetrical, right? So easy to remember. So we notice that that's a third finger shape. Now I've got a first finger shape. We could play first finger shape for E minor pentatonic. Where would that be? We know that the first finger goes on the root on the low E. That's a key right there. And we play easy shape from there. So that's... Or if I wanted a third finger shape, because whatever reason, perhaps my hand happened to be in that area, my third finger goes on the E and I play shape 5 symmetrical shape. Now we can see that those 2 shapes are connected. The first finger shape, easy shape, is connected to the third finger shape. They share the same root in the same place. But it means that I don't always have to jump up to easy shape. And there are a lot of advantages to that. One, I could play the scale wherever I am. If I happen to be there, I know exactly what the scale is. But also, if I stop starting every solo or every lick in easy shape, I end up playing something different. Just because of the different shape of shape 5 symmetrical shape, I tend to have a different group of licks, a different bag of licks that I might play there. And just the way that the shape is, the way that our hand has to stretch over those notes, and the location where the blue note is different. It just means that I end up playing something different without even trying to play something different. But let's say we were somewhere else on the fretboard. Like I said before, we have 2 first finger shapes and we have 2 third finger shapes. So let's just find another E. If I look down at the fretboard, I want to know instantly what my roots are on the low E and the A strings, because if you don't know those quick, this is not going to work as well for you. And that's stuff that we should know anyway, right? So that's definitely on your homework if you need to get faster at that. So I look down and I see an E note on the 7th fret of the A string. Now, just by coincidence, I don't know why, it just happened to be where my hand was as I was speaking, my third finger happened to be on that E. So I know what third finger minor pentatonic is when the root is on the A string, and that is shape 3, what I sometimes call triple stack. But it's possible, given whatever song that I might be playing at that moment, then I might have been playing this E minor chord, right? Which is first finger on the 7th fret. And maybe I looked down at that moment and I needed to play a little lick to end the song or start a solo. I look down and I see, oh, my first finger is near or on that E note, 7th fret of the A string, and it's a first finger shape then. And I know that my first finger shape from the A string is always shape 4, what I call the funny B string shape. And that is one of my favorite shapes for soloing in for sure, maybe even more so than easy shape. But the other thing we notice now is that root has 2 shapes that belong to it, right? It has shape 3, which is a 3rd finger shape, and it has shape 4, which is a 1st finger shape. Now, we're going to do this in major pentatonic as well because it actually works. It is a little different. But remember that 3-step process I mentioned at the beginning of the video? Here's how that works. First, find the nearest root of the scale you're looking for on either the low E or the A string. Just wherever your hand happens to be, find the nearest one so that we don't have to shift if we don't need to. Now, the second thing you do is you just notice what string you found it on and what finger you found it with, right? Or what finger is closest to it. In this case, my first finger happened to be on that E, and that E note is on the A string. That tells me what shape I need to use from there. That's step 3. Step 3 is play whatever shape belongs to that, right? So first finger A string is shape 4, funny B string shape. So what were those steps? One was just find the root on either the low E or the A string. Find the closest one to where you are. Don't always shift up to where easy shape would be. And once you find that root, you look down and you ask yourself, what finger is closest to it? And what string is it on? Is it on the E or the A? And that step 3 gives us the answer. Either it's a first finger shape or a 3rd finger shape. And from which string it's on tells us what shape it is, right? If my first finger is on low E string, then it's easy shape. I mean, we know that one, right? But if my 3rd finger was closest to that E, it would be symmetrical shape. If I happen to have found the root on the A string with my first finger, then it would be shape 4 funny B. Or if I happen to be around here and I found that E on the A string with my 3rd finger, then it would be shape 3 triple stack. If you can do that, you'll find that you start playing different things because again, as you start using the different shapes, especially if you start your solo in a different shape, you're going to play different things. You're going to travel in different directions. You're going to play different licks. You're going to stretch to different blue notes. And your solos are going to change quite quickly. But also, then you will know exactly where every scale is whenever you need it. Although that's just minor pentatonic. We're going to do major pentatonic in our Patreon group this week. And you can get 7 days for free right now. So you kind of got nothing to lose. The link to that Patreon group is below. I hope to see you there.